Ireland, a land of ancient traditions, Gaelic kings, and deep religious devotion. But in 1534, its destiny was profoundly altered by a decision made not in Dublin, but in London, by one of England's most famous monarch, King Henry VIII. By the early 16th century, England and Ireland were deeply intertwined, though unequally. The Anglo-Norman invasion of Ireland in the 12th century had established English control over the Pale, a small region around Dublin. Beyond this, Gaelic lords held sway, governing their territories by ancient Irish laws and customs. Henry VIII, a man of towering ambition and ego, had a problem. His marriage to Catherine of Aragon had failed to produce a male heir, and the Pope refused to grant him an annulment. Determined to secure his dynasty, Henry broke with the Catholic Church in Rome, establishing the Church of England and declaring himself its supreme head. This decision was not just a personal act, it was a profound political and religious revolution. At the time, England was a Catholic country, as was Ireland. The Catholic Church wielded immense power, both spiritually and politically. Henry's break with Rome challenged centuries of religious tradition and set England on a collision course with Catholic Europe. In England, the Reformation led to sweeping changes, but its consequences for Ireland were even more profound. In 1534, he declared himself King of Ireland, replacing the medieval title of Lord of Ireland, which had been granted by the Pope. This move was not merely symbolic. By rejecting papal authority, Henry sought to tighten English control over Ireland and bring the island under the Protestant Reformation. Henry's new title also aimed to undermine the loyalty of Irish Catholics to Rome. The declaration of kingship was accompanied by efforts to centralize governance and assert English law across Ireland. However, Ireland was not a monolithic entity. Gaelic chieftains and Old English families, descendants of the Anglo-Norman settlers, had long vied for power. Many of them resisted this radical shift, seeing it as an attack on their faith and autonomy. The Pale represented the limits of English authority in Ireland. Beyond its borders, Gaelic lords maintained their independence, adhering to Brehon laws and Gaelic traditions. Henry's ambition to bring all of Ireland under his rule meant challenging these long-standing systems. The Reformation in Ireland was not peaceful. Henry's agents dissolved monasteries, confiscated church lands, and imposed English Protestant practices. Monasteries had been centers of education, culture, and community for centuries. Their destruction was a devastating blow to Irish society. For the Irish, religion was more than a matter of faith. It was a cornerstone of identity. The suppression of Catholicism fueled resentment and rebellion. Many Irish communities continued to practice their faith in secret, preserving their traditions despite the threat of punishment. Resistance to the Reformation took many forms. Some Irish lords openly defied English authority, while others sought to protect their people through negotiation. However, the cultural and religious divide between the English crown and the Irish population deepened with every act of suppression. Henry's Reformation also had a profound cultural impact. The decline of the Gaelic monasteries and schools meant that Ireland's literary and artistic traditions suffered. While pockets of resistance ensured the survival of some elements, the systematic suppression of Catholicism struck at the heart of Ireland's cultural identity. Henry's policies set the stage for centuries of conflict. Irish resistance grew, culminating in uprisings against English rule. The Tudor conquest of Ireland intensified under Henry's successors, particularly Elizabeth I, who sought to fully subjugate the island. The 9 Years' War and the eventual plantation of Ulster were direct outcomes of these policies, displacing native Irish populations and settling Protestant English and Scottish families in their place. The Protestant Reformation and the Crown's tightening grip on Ireland sowed the seeds for sectarian conflict. The divisions between Catholics and Protestants, which originated in this period, would echo through Irish history, leading to long-lasting political and social ramifications. The erosion of Gaelic power and culture was not merely a military conquest, it was also an ideological battle. English laws replaced Gaelic customs, and the Protestant Church sought to dominate a deeply Catholic society. These changes fundamentally altered Ireland's social fabric. The imposition of English rule also laid the groundwork for colonial-style administration. Ireland became a testing ground for policies that England would later apply in its overseas empire, including land confiscations and cultural assimilation efforts. Henry VIII's declaration as King of Ireland and his imposition of Protestantism marked a turning point. What began as one man's quest for power and legacy reshaped the religious, cultural, and political landscape of Ireland. Over the centuries, the tensions ignited by the Reformation evolved into full-blown conflicts, from the Irish Confederate Wars to the partition of Ireland in the 20th century. While the scars of the Reformation remain, Ireland's story is also one of remarkable resilience. Through centuries of upheaval, its people have preserved their cultural and spiritual heritage with unwavering determination. Traditional music, language, and religious practices were often kept alive in secret, passed down through generations. This blend of resistance and renewal enabled them to shape a future that honors their rich past, celebrating a legacy of survival and cultural pride that continues to inspire the world today.